Okay, everyone, welcome back from this commercial break. Hopefully you enjoyed your commercial break, and welcome back to this special edition of your 2016 election night coverage. Let's go and listen in to Mike Crompton from WMUR. He's at the Ginta headquarters.
Guys, they are ready and again hoping for victory, so we'll be monitoring this race all night long here live from Murphy's Tap Room in Manchester. For now, we're live in Manchester. Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, there you go. That was Mike Cronin. He is in Manchester at the Ginta headquarters. So this whole election year was very interesting in things. Now let's go and listen to Jennifer Crompton. She's at the Carol Shea Porter headquarters in Portsmouth.
Called Going Into the Blue. There's an eruption of cheering. But, you know, these people have been through this before. You have to remember that Carol Shea Porter has run for this office 6 times. She won 3 times. Her first term was in 2007. A group of 13 people, they call themselves the Kitchen Cabinet, sat around and urged her to run. She took that seat away from Jeb Bradley, and she served 2 terms in a row before Frank Ginta took it back from her. She beat him again the next year. He took her back again. So this is a rematch for the ages. Certainly there's worry that Sean O'Connor, doing as well as he is taking from someone. The hope is not from Carol Shea Porter. But as I said, these people are tried and true. They've been through this so many times. She was out there today with really level-headed, showing optimism, but really showing pleasure that so many people are taking part in this process. We know it's been a very tough races across the board, but she really stands by the fact that she is a working person's candidate. You know, she supports maintaining Social Security and Medicare, support of veterans. She's the spouse of a veteran. All of the kinds of things that you would expect from a woman who was undergrad, a social worker. She got her BA from UNH and then went on and got a public administration master's degree at UNH. So she's really taking it home and working the home ground here, trying to keep, as she says, the American dream alive. The folks here are certainly her tried and true believers, and, you know, 6 times a charm. But they're not losing faith. They love these early numbers. They do know it's early. They know they're in for the long haul, but certainly a lot of optimism tonight. So we'll be here, and we'll keep you posted from this end of things. But for now, Tom and Jen, back to you.
Okay, and we want to tell you about...
Okay, that was Jennifer Crompton from WMUR reporting on at the Carol Shea Porter headquarters. Very interesting as well. Let's listen about Sean O'Connor.
We have, you know, everything from libertarians and Republicans to Democrats and Greens all pulling together. So I think there's a real sense of positivity in what has otherwise been a really challenging election. And so we feel really good about that. Sean O'Connor running an independent campaign.
Okay, that was Sean O'Connor, everyone. He's running independent. We're getting word right now that, let's see, sorry about that. I saw somewhere. Just came by the area. Let's see if we can find it for you guys. Projected 2016 race winners. Let's see. Nope. That is not what we want, everyone. Let's listen to the Annie Kuster headquarters.
Around this room here have full confidence Rep. Kuster will serve a 3rd term. Kuster is the U.S. representative in the 2nd Congressional District. If she wins tonight, she will be the first Democrat ever to serve 3 terms in the House of Representatives in the 2nd District. She says she's proud of the work she's done so far in fighting the drug problem in our state. Kuster founded a bipartisan drug task force to combat the opioid epidemic. She says she brought together 85 members of Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, to work on the issue, something she wants to continue working on across the aisle. Before being elected to Congress, she served as an adoption attorney and public policy advocate for 25 years. Representative Kuster is one of 5 children, and both of her parents held elected office. Now, we did talk to Kuster's campaign manager earlier this evening. They're feeling very confident right now as the election results come in. We will be here all evening long. For now, let's head it over to Cherise LeClaire, the Jim Lawrence campaign. She's in Nashua tonight.
Well, thank you, Kristen. That's right. We're here at Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua. Friends and family have gathered to support Republican candidate in the 2nd Congressional District, Jim Lawrence. I'm joined live now by his campaign advisor, Jen Battelle. And Jen, you've been working hard on this campaign. What has it been like in the days leading up to this huge, momentous election day?
Well, we've had a great grassroots campaign. We've had a whole bunch of support all over the 2nd Congressional District. There's been a lot of energy. He spoke in Manchester last night, which was great. He really rallied the whole Republican ticket. And just, I think the energy on this campaign has been unbelievable. And it's just so great to see people come out and vote and support Jim, because he's great for the district.
And New Hampshire, historically, there's lots of undecided voters. It could really go either way. When he got to speak in front of a very large Republican crowd, maybe some people who were undecided last night in Manchester, right before Donald Trump came out, what did that mean to the campaign?
I think that turned it. I think that particular event, that definitely turned it. It increased his name ID, and he's really, he's a contender in this race.
And I got to talk to him earlier. He talked about fiscal responsibility and fighting terrorists abroad were two of the major things he wanted to head down to Washington for. Why do you think he's the right candidate at this time?
I think he's the right candidate because, number one, he's a person that will do what he says he's going to do. That's number one. And number two, everything that he's campaigned on, he has the life experience to do it.
And he has served at the State House before. How do you think that helped him in this campaign process, and what kind of background did that give him?
It's just another layer of experience it's another layer of experience for him, really, and it will help him with the legislation at the federal level, too.
Right, and lastly, a small percentage of precincts reporting. He is getting beat right now by the incumbent, Annie Kuster. Your thoughts on that, and where the rest of the night will take you from here?
I'd like to just wait and see. Everybody's fired up, and I'd like to wait and see.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. We'll, of course, continue to keep watch on those numbers as they come in here in Nashua, as friends and family continue to wait for Jim Lawrence's arrival here at the Sky Meadow Country Club. I'm Cherise LeClaire, live in Nashua. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Hey, Cherise, thank you.
Very early.
Right.
Okay, that was Cherise from WMUR. We're happy we could hear from her about the Jim Lawrence campaign. And it's still very early to call those results right now, but I'll read you some of the result numbers. Let's just refresh that page for you. So for presidential, okay, I guess I'm getting word. We're going to go to Josh McCoven and listen to him.
Same-day registered voters. Traditional thinking is that would all be Democrats, but who knows in this cycle, because we have a lot of people out there supporting Donald Trump who might be first-time voters or they weren't registered here in New Hampshire. This is very different than anything that we've seen. Talking about Donald Trump, though, a little bit, obviously some states that are very important to his pathway to victory, and really there's not a whole lot of room for error here. You need your Michigans, Florida is very important to him, North Carolina, and a short time ago, the communications director for the Republican National Committee talked to an ABC reporter and expressed a lot of optimism for Trump's performance so far.
I think obviously Florida's a really important state in the map to 270. We also, I think a state like North Carolina, it was really important to the Clinton campaign. They've started to admit that we're going to win that state. And then when you look at a state like Michigan or Colorado, as Donald Trump has continued to expand the map, those are really important as well.
All right, now I'm joined by a couple of familiar faces here at Granite State Politics. Steve Marchand, representing the Democratic analysis tonight. Mike Dennehy, longtime strategist for the GOP. Good to see you guys. So heading into tonight, was there a feeling, and I don't want to argue over who had the best game, but where did the energy lie from the people that you were talking to? We'll start with you, Mike.
The energy, in my opinion, was with Trump and the Trump voters. I think he has inherently had that advantage because, I mean, it's something I haven't seen since the Ross Perot days. The Trump voter is coming out to the polls, whether you like it or not, and there's a 60-degree day today. So, I mean, that's why I think we have seen an increase in voters. It is, I think, split between Democrats and Republicans, and a big piece of it is because of Trump.
Well, Donald Trump certainly has that core support, 25%. They're not going anywhere for any reason. It's always about expanding that base, Steve. And as we know, Hillary Clinton and her campaign, renowned for the machine they put together around the country and here in New Hampshire.
In some ways, it's really the fruit of a generation's worth of organization and planning going back to the mid-'90s. Now, Senator Jeanne Shaheen was a part of building that culture in the Democratic Party. So when you talk about the energy, I think the energy was on the totality of the ticket, especially that top portion of it, to say, wow, we've got strong candidates in all three of those statewide slots. They're working together. They were consistently on the stage together, buttressed by the president, the former president, you name it, Elizabeth Warren. A lot of energy from that continuity and hopefully an efficiency of scale, Democrats would say, and success all the way down the ticket tonight.
While we're talking, let's have a look at where things stand in the Electoral College. The latest numbers are coming in right now from the national network. But for you, Mike, well, both of you, Steve, you ran for governor in this cycle, so you can certainly speak to it. There's our numbers right now as they stand. Donald Trump 66, Hillary Clinton 68. A lot of room to grow on both sides, obviously. But was this a campaign cycle, given all the sideshows and the storylines and the dynamics here, where traditional politics, traditional strategies just didn't work, or they didn't apply in this case, largely due to the fact that national tickets, or the top of the ticket influence down the ballot?
I don't think so. In fact, I think it depended on the candidate and their position in the process. For example, Hillary Clinton needed that incredible ground game. I'll be the first to tell you the Democrats are better organized than the Republicans, much better. But the advantage that Donald Trump had with his passionate voters and the folks who want change, that was something that he had an advantage and didn't necessarily need that ground game operation. And I think we're starting to see that bear out in numbers in the blue-collar towns like Farmington and even Concord Wards 1 and 2, where he's outpolled Mitt Romney from 4 years ago. It's an anomaly that we have seen since the primary process, where Donald Trump had zero ground game. Now he has a ground game. It's not nearly as good as the Democrats, but it's going to be good enough in some areas. And the question is it good enough to win?
Well, I wanted you to weigh in on this, Steve, because the numbers coming in at Concord, obviously it's heavily Democratic, but they're actually coming in about 1,000 ballots less than 2012. Are you concerned about energy when it comes to the Democratic Party?
Well, not so much energy, because I think there's plenty of it, frankly, on both sides of the aisle. That energy takes different forms, to Mike's point a moment ago. I do believe that in what everybody acknowledges would be a highly competitive race in all three of the big ones, right? The Senate, the governor, and the presidential. When you've got a superior ground game, when you're well-funded, when you've got candidates that coordinate and you get the efficiencies of scale that come with it, if you can get 2 to 3 points extra because of those advantages, it is not crazy to say that could be the difference in who wins all three of those races tonight. Those are big advantages.